So, Cole, obviously, first full season with the organization, first full off season. What are some things that you've kind of learned that the organization likes to do pitching wise that you've been able to carry into this season?
I think there's just a lot of trust on player feedback and stuff like that. So when I broke out the cutter last year, everyone was like, but then they trusted that I knew what I was doing, and then had the success with it. And so a lot of my meetings have been, hey, let's keep throwing that cutter. So that's kind of what I was working on in the off season, and you know did some other good things. Lost about 12 pounds in the off season. Tried to get back into better shape. I was a little overweight coming in last year. Could have been maybe just the off season training, being in Oakland when I was a little more comfortable, and then getting over here trying to play catch up and get to know guys. And but all in all, it's not about how you start; it's about how you finish. And I thought we finished pretty well. Speaking for myself in terms of results wise. So this year it's a little different story. Made some good adjustments, and I'm excited to face some hitters and get some feedback on what I've been doing.
Yeah, two things there I want to hit on. You mentioned adding the cutter. Orioles just traded for a guy that throws a pretty decent cutter. Have you been able to pick Corbin Burns' brain at all about that?
It's funny. So his grip is the one that I've kind of started going off of to get the cutter right, and I haven't talked to him yet. I'm going to, but it was his cutter grip that really kind of helped me get that cutter going. So thanks to Pitching Ninja and all his files on social media. But no, I'm excited to pick his brain a little bit, his intent, behind that pitch, his thoughts on, when he's throwing it, why he's throwing it in certain counts, a little bit more, chestnut checkers conversations. So it'll be fun.
And not to get too pitching ninja, but I know that grip is pretty much just like the four-seam fastball. So is getting that cutting action on it a lot of just how you're releasing it off the hand? Is it a pressure thing with the two fingers?
It's really just a pressure off the middle finger. Now his feel might be a little different, but for me it's the pressure off the middle finger, and making sure I have that seam. It's basically a shifted four-seam fastball, and so the intent stays the same, but this offseason is trying to throw it harder, so there's a little bit more intent behind it. So hopefully it translates.
And you mentioned too, back half of the season, found a lot of success, had like a 2.40-something ERA towards the back half of the year. What was working really well for you?
I think just command. I think I found my stride. I think in terms of communication with the team and the pitching staff, and just confidence with teammates, and I just found a groove. The team went to a 6-man rotation, asked me to fill in for some starts to give the rotation some rest going into the postseason. So I was just trying to do my best to get caught up to eat innings, and because I wasn't built up at that time. And so that first start in Seattle was a really good one for me, to kind of get the ball rolling. And so that was really kind of just the first kind of big hurdle for me, just trying to build that confidence, get back in the rotation when I hadn't been doing it for a while. And then and then it translated in the first couple outings in September, before I got optioned again. And that was just a numbers game at that point when I got optioned, and I understood that. So felt good, threw the ball well. I'm excited about this year, though. We have a lot of expectation in the room. There's been a kind of an eagerness to our workouts and stuff. Guys have been in the weight room absolutely pushing some weight. And this is only 4 or 5 days into spring training, so hopefully that maintains and guys still enjoy doing that. But I mean, it's been a lot of fun just seeing guys come in, working. A lot of guys stay connected through the off season. So hearing Danny Coulomb hitting 92 and alive, we're excited for him, and it's fun. It's you're back with your friends, and this is exciting.
Now, you mentioned last year you had kind of that hybrid role. You were making spot starts here and there. What did your off-season build-up look like? Were you building up for a starting rotation kind of role? What did that look like?
Yeah, I always threw 2 lives and up-down before I leave, no matter what my role is. So I did my normal routine. I threw 2 lives before I came out. I threw to Chad Pinder, which was a former teammate of mine when I was with Oakland. So he gave me some good feedback on my stuff. But yeah, I built up as a starter, I guess you could say. I didn't know what the expectation was coming in, until the news dropped, to the world that Means and Bradish will not be starting with us, to start the year, or at least Bradish isn't. I found out that all that stuff, on hand, so I had no idea. And they're going to be back with us at some point. So my job is just to get outs and try to find a way to finish hitters, which is why I made the change to my arsenal a little bit more. I emphasize that, and so I know these guys are going to be back. It's just a part-time filling of the role.
Did the Bradish Means news change any of the messaging from the team in terms of what your role would look like?
No. I think just all in all, I'm ready to go. Whatever they were going to tell me to do was going to be the plan. So they haven't really told me much, just beyond what they've said in the media is just we're going to get every opportunity to earn that spot. So my job is not done. I have an intent this spring. I have a little fire under my belly with the way I started last year. I wasn't happy. I mean, granted, I pitched really well, but I wasn't happy with how the whole year as a result turned out. So, like I said, a lot of work this offseason was part of that. And so we're gonna. I'm anxious to get these games going, to start building up, and be ready to be called upon.